Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. Let's have a look at Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and I'm going to do a 7-star level 120 review of Veritas of the Light. And I was very excited to pull a second of her. That was pretty recently, during the Halloween event. I wanted to get Demon Rain because I like counter tanks. But as the saying goes, you don't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. I'm paraphrasing. And then, yeah, when I got the second Light Veritas in order to make that 7-star, I was very happy, because as far as magic users, I'm a little bit low on that. I have Ace now, who's not the best magic damage dealer. And then I'll have Rydia in the future, who is also maybe not the best. But I picked up Veritas of the Light here. She is a good single target or AoE magic damage dealer. She can also finish chains. And then I guess she has some chaining abilities if you pair her with herself. But yeah, I think she's a good character. She also has some interesting support skills. And I consider her sort of the light version of like Barbarisha. It's interesting because even though they are kind of similar, Barbarisha is way more popular than Light Veritas. There might be a few reasons for that. Might be because she's a hybrid damage dealer, so you want to raise both of her attack and magic. And then she also doesn't equip the typical mage stuff. So like robes, you know, she can't use at all. She can use rods, although I think she's better with throwing weapons and guns. And then also, because she's sort of tied to her light element and then slayers on certain class types, that also kind of limits her as well. But yeah, just her being able to do AoE magic damage, chaining, or finishing. That's really, really helpful for me, and I'll probably be using her a lot. But anyway, let's look at her magic first. Not a whole ton here. Holy and Ultima, those are, you know, damage spells. Ultima you could enhance, so it does multiple hits so that you could chain it. Although I don't know if that's the best use for Veritas of the Light. Most of her magic damage is going to come from her skills here. And then we'll go through here. Divine Shot, this is the one that I use the most. It hits everybody. It also imperils light, which is very nice. It does light damage itself, and then it does a few hits. If you are going to use two Light Veritas together, this is going to be the attack that you use to chain with itself. It can be enhanced, and I highly recommend to do that. There's also Blowback, which I don't really use a lot. Hits everybody, that's nice, and then attack and magic boost on everybody. But yeah, I think you have other buffers usually, so you won't need this. Damnation is cool. This actually does not do any element damage. So if somehow you're fighting an enemy that is immune to light, you can use this instead. And then it would also enable Saint Buster, which is one of her most powerful attacks. It's especially good for finishing chains. Saint Buster does do light damage, so that is something to keep in mind. Next up is Splendor. We cannot see what that does here, but this is a passive. It makes her absorb light damage, and then if you enhance it, it will give you more buffs with heavy armor, and then also allow you to use Saint Buster the first turn. So if you were looking for first turn KOs, or just big damage on the first turn, then you could use that with Splendor here. And then here is her dual wield ability. Only good for weapons and guns. So if you wanted to dual wield with a rod in there, maybe 2 rods or like a rod and a gun or something, then you'd have to use like a Genji glove or something. And then a Noble Gunner. This is the ability here that I would say makes it preferable to give her a gun and a throwing weapon. So yeah. And then here's License to Kill. This is one of the kind of strongest parts of Light Veritas, because it gets her lots of extra damage against all of these 4 different types of class types. And then Enhance, it will do 100% extra damage. That's twice the damage. That's really, really good. And then Demons, Machina, Fairies, and Reapers, there are lots of those all over the place. And Barbarisha, she also has 4 Slayers, but I'm thinking maybe these 4. There's going to be more enemies and more bosses with these class types than the ones that Barbarisha has. She does have a human, so that's pretty good, but she also is good against like stone and like, I think aquatic and maybe avian. So yeah, you can see that the demons, machina, fairies, and reapers, much more of those around. And then here is the trust ability, just all stats up and then even more damage against those other guys. That's kind of similar to Barbarisha's trust ability. And then to quickly look at her Trustmaster, this is one of the best materia for magic users. Magic 40%, that's one of the highest. HP 20% is very nice because usually magic damage dealers are kind of fragile. And then decreased chance of being targeted, that's also really good. So that your magic users, just don't take as many attacks. So yeah, really, really good for Veritas of the Light. You definitely want to get that for her. Here is Photolysis, I think that's how you say that. This is very interesting. It's like an Esuna plus Stop Charm and Berserk removal. This is a very, very rare ability. And yeah, this could be great to use in a pinch, or if you have a free turn with Light Veritas. Very, very cool skill. Here is a Saint Eraser. This is kind of like the cooldown, stronger version of Saint Buster. So again, light damage to all enemies, one big hit. Also great for finishing chains. And then here is the skill that she picks up level 120. Fills the limit break gauge, and then equipment attack and magic when equipped with 2 one-handed weapons. So this is like true dual wield that buffs the magic. So with that in mind, you would want to equip her with a lot of equipment with flat magic and attack. So this is the way that I'm building her now. The one throwing weapon is going to be the Yin Yang Charm, and then the one gun will be the Quasar. There is one throwing weapon which I would love, and that is Ace's Super Trustmaster. That's like attack 60, 70 something, and then magic 160, 70 something. So that would be amazing for Light Veritas as well. The gun, I think Barret from Final Fantasy VII, he'll be coming out later. That'll be a better gun for Light Veritas, so I'll keep an eye on that. For the helm, there's not really any helms that give you a lot of magic. So I have the Rider's Helm here to give her some attack. Although you could give her the Cursed Mouthpiece, a little bit of magic, and then a Destruction, which gives her Demon Slayer, which she already has. So this would be even more Slayer for her for demons, so that would be very cool for her. And then the Heavy Armor, she gets passive buffs for using Heavy Armor, so I have the Iron Colossus for that little bit of attack. I guess we could talk about her Super Trustmaster. This is excellent for her, of course. And actually, this might be the best armor of any of the Veritases. Very, balanced stats all around, flat stats. And then good for her, because it gives her both the attack and the magic. It does give the light resistance, which kind of does not synergize well with her ability to absorb light magic to do the healing. But I don't think it's a big deal. I feel like as long as she's taking 0 damage from light attacks, that's good enough for me. And then for accessories, anything with both, flat magic and attack values. So Lunas Trustmaster, Celestial Gloves, or the Omega Medal, those are both pretty good. And then for abilities, just give her as much, attack and magic boosts that are like 2 in 1. So yeah, Power of Creation. I think I got that. Oh, that was Maxwell's Trustmaster. That was one of the first Trustmasters that I ever got. Because I wanted an attack 30% up, and I didn't have any at that time, I think. Very, very early in the game. But yeah, Adventurer is awesome for her. And then, of course, her Trustmaster here. If you wanted to, you could sub out, any of these abilities for more Slayers or whatever. But yeah, as we can see, she already has ton in her already. And then finally here, let's talk about her Limit Break. Her Limit Break is really good. I haven't leveled it up. But it's definitely on the short list for ones that I do want to do. Big light damage. This will also act as a finisher, and then also break, defense, and spirit. And this is the highest defense and spirit break in the game right now. Maybe it is the same as Prish, when also her limit break is maxed out. But yeah, it's even higher than Lid's limit break. She's still a 6-star at the time that I'm making this video. But yeah, biggest break in the game, right here. Alright, next, let's bring Light Veritas to some quests. I'm not going to bring her to the dummy, I'm just going to show her off in some runs that I did. And then kind of, maybe famously, or maybe not very famously, She is really, really good for Calcabrena. That's that new trial with the dolls. They are a dual class. They are both demon and fairy. Light Veritas has both of those slayers. So here I just brought tornado chains so that I could fit Saint Buster into there. And then we'll see if we can take down Calcabrena, the little guys, in the first turn. Okay, pretty good. We're going to try that again on the big guy. It's not going to work though. I think the big guy just has too many hit points. But if you had 2 of Light Veritas, you could chain the Divine Shot and take down the boss here. I've seen a video of that, so... So yeah, this is like a case where it's kind of like a niche case, but you know, it shows that Light Veritas is very strong in the right situation. Alright, next let's look at some highlights from the Surging Menace. I beat that the other day and I brought Light Veritas as kind of my general magic damage dealer. And then yeah, she was really good in here. Nobody had the resistance to light. She got some slayers in there. Yeah, being able to do the AoE magic damage was also helpful. So yeah, that is Light Veritas, kind of in a nutshell. And then, yeah, the main ways that you're going to use her, you're going to use her Divine Shot. That's just for overall damage. And then actually, I would say that that is the better choice than Saint Buster. So I wouldn't even worry about, you know, going through the steps to unlock that. But if you're going to finish chains with Light Veritas, then you would want to use Saint Buster. Otherwise, just use Divine Shot. And then if you have some off turns, you can, you know, dispel your guys. You can dispel the enemies as well. You can buff your guys' attack and magic. You can break the boss with the limit break. So yeah, lots of uses for Light Veritas. And for me, very valuable, just because I don't have anybody else like her in 7-star. Okay, hopefully you have fun with that, and we'll see you again. Take care.